Okay, so hi everybody. This is Chuck and DaNang, and I'm doing a video on the costs to live here, how expensive it is. And then I sat down and I listed them out, and then I went through and wrote about everything. So here it is. So the big question is, can we live in DaNang on Social Security? And these are my monthly expenses. This is I wrote this out, so it's a little bit long, but I will do a spreadsheet list at the end of this and add it up. So bear with me here. So these are my monthly expenses. I am renting a 45 square meter studio on the 4th floor of a newish walk-up without an elevator for $300 a month, or 7 million dong. This building was designed by a woman who went to school in London and in Australia. It is Western spec with high counters, a great bathroom, air conditioning, and has shiny silver-colored metal siding on the exterior walls, so the setting sun gets reflected off and doesn't bake us inside. And that's nice. If you have dark-colored wall facing the setting sun, your apartment will be hot to the point where your AC might not keep up. There is no insulation anywhere. It's a brick wall. So keep a compass in your pocket and know how to use the one in your phone. My entire western wall is in the sun most of the afternoon until sunset, and before they put the shiny siding on, that wall got hot to the touch. Something to consider for sure when you're apartment shopping. Again, I'm paying $300 a month, 7 million dong, for a nice studio. It's super comfortable, and I have 84 steps to get up here, and there's no elevator, and I like that. It's forced exercise, and my legs are doing well because of it. You come up and down 3 or 4 times a day, and you feel it, and your legs like it. So, okay, so electricity, I'm paying an average of $45 a month for electricity, spread out over the year, if you average it. And I have paid $65 during the hottest summer months and as low as $20 during the winter. It seems like I always have 2 fans running, my AC or dehumidifier, as well as my big screen TV, laptop, my blue zapper bug light, and have external speakers plugged into my laptop as well. And it's comfortable. Most of the year I run the dehumidifier because pulling the moisture out of the air really cools this off. I have also a switch-controlled water heater I can turn on if the solar hasn't seen any sun in a while. And yes, my building has lovely solar hot water. It works great most of the year. So let me talk about the dehumidifier a bit. It cycles off and on, and so it's not on all the time like the air conditioning is, and it works almost as good as air conditioning most of the year, and it's fairly cheap to run, and it just pulls all the moisture out of the air, and that's kind of nice. Like if I leave in the evening, I'll close up my apartment and turn the dehumidifier on, so when I come home, my apartment's cool and dry, and that's nice. The next item is motorbike rental. I pay $50 a month. When I started, it was a little bit more, but as I became a long-term renter, they lowered my monthly rate. So I think I was paying 1.4 million to begin with, and then they lowered it to 1.2 million. And since I've been there for so long, I'm paying 1 million a month, and they should probably just give me the damn bike since I've probably paid for it. I'm sure I've paid for it, but that's not what I'm paying for. I'm paying for the service and the rescue. The rescue is amazing. They will show up. It broke. I was at Megamart and it wouldn't start. And I was with my friend Swan, and so she gave me a ride home. And the next day they picked me up at my house on a new bike. And I rode Jessica down to Megamart, and she met one of her mechanics there. When I got there, she just said, "Go, you can take the bike." And she and the mechanic dealt with my other bike. And in fact, they couldn't get it started. And so she rode it, and her mechanic rode behind her and gave her a foot push with his foot, pushed her all the way back from Megamart, all the way up the peninsula. And then they fixed it, and the next day I came and got it. But that was amazing, and super wonderful of them. It's a service that's fabulous, just fabulous. They put new tires on for me, and it's amazing. So anyway, the $50 a month is totally worth it, and I don't have to worry about renting a motorbike, whatever all that nonsense is, licensing and putting plates on it, and who knows what is all involved. So, okay, gas costs for me on my moto. I ride around town a fair bit, and I would guesstimate my gas spending is about $15 a month. You know, I put like 40,000 dong in every time I fill it up, and I fill it up maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And 40,000 dongs is like $1.70. So I actually didn't really add that up. I just sort of guessed at 15 bucks a month, and it's just cheap, you know. And I get 35 kilometers to the liter. It's fun. So if you're gonna do trips down to Hoi An or Lenco, then you know you're gonna be buying more gas. So, okay, so meds. Let's talk about meds. I'm 65, right? I take the normal 65-year-old stuff, such as metformin and Jardiance. I take a compound blood pressure med, a daily aspirin, Neurobion, which is a complex B vitamin. Jardiance here is $1 a day. In the States, it's $15 a day, you know, so keep that in mind. Vietnam is lovely, cheap. As an example, 10 days worth of amoxicillin, which would be 20 capsules, 20 each, 500 milligram capsules are 90 cents here. Z-Packs are also super cheap, so, you know, you get a sinus infection and you can take care of it cheaply. So something else that I've discovered here that I really love is the fact that we have access to retail labs. I can walk into my retail lab, have my blood drawn, and the results are in my email later that day. I get my liver, kidneys, insulin, blood sugar, cholesterol, and a whole bunch of other stuff checked twice a month for $35, right? I tweak my own meds. So I'm a vet. I've been using the VA hospital for years, and that's all they ever do. They check your blood and tweak your meds. And with Google, it's super easy to research what does what and any interactions. My blood pressure med wasn't working, and I started reading about it and discovered that I needed a diuretic so I could pee off some liquid, and my blood pressure would drop. And I told my coffee shop lady, Kim at Caracoli at Vincom, and she said she tried this. She told me, she gave me one, and I did the research on it and discovered it was doable, and I added it to my daily regimen, and I watched my blood pressure closely. I watched my blood through the lab closely to make sure my liver and kidneys could handle it, right? And watched my blood pressure drop like crazy. And I did the same thing with sugar. Metformin wasn't working, and I started doing research on what to do, and I discovered Jardiance and added Jardiance, and so my blood sugar is dropping. Metformin stopped working, you know, and I was checking my blood sugar, and it was my A1C was 8.5, and I added Jardiance, and now it's like 7.2 and on its way down. So that's good. I also bought a wrist blood pressure cuff to check my BP. So I guess I'm doctoring myself. I'm following the same thing they do at the VA. So there, pretty much that's all they do at the VA. You know, they check your blood and tweak your meds. And so I can do that. Okay, so I'm spending around $200 a month for groceries, and this includes snacks and coffee and soda water, you know, bubbly water. I don't drink alcohol at all, but I do like, you know, bubbly water. It's nice, and put a little lime in it, and it's great. I discovered a source of Tostitos here, and I love them. We are in avocado country, so mashed guac with Vietnamese hot sauce, snarfed down with Tostito scoopers is a real treat, but they're $6 a bag. Also, I drink a lot of, I already said this, bubbly Schweppes and Effervesce. So that is part of the $200 a month that I spend. And in fact, I'm going to Megamart in a few minutes to buy a case of bubbly water. I have a dear friend, a Vietnamese friend here who I eat with a lot. I was trying to figure this out last night to guesstimate how much we spend in restaurants for 2 people. We eat out maybe 20 nights a month, and nothing extravagant either, you know, burgers and pizza, and occasionally we hit 4Ps, the nice pizza joint in Indochine Tower down on the river, for their great, really simple giant salad, which we split, and a lasagna, which we split. And that's around $15 and seems to about average, and that fills us. Sometimes we just get a $10 pizza, or sometimes we splurge a bit more. So I would say we spend $300 to $400 eating out monthly. I really should write down everything I spend, and I think that's probably closer to $300. maybe 400, but not very often. Mostly 300. Coffee shops, I maybe spend $15 a month in coffee shops. The coffee shops vary widely, and there must be 10,000 of them here. Vietnam grows coffee. It grows Robusta, which is bitter and has tons of caffeine in it, and they put super sweet condensed milk in it and turn it into basically a brown chocolatey caffeine buzz. Vietnam also grows Arabica, which is milder and has less caffeine. It's pretty easy to find a properly made black Americano here with Arabica beans. And smoothies are everywhere also. So that was $15 a month. Massages and barbershop. So I did a video not too long ago on Vietnamese, full-service Vietnamese barbershops, so you can find that on my channel. It's not very far back. So that's a fabulous thing. You go, you're treated like kings by these beautiful young Vietnamese women, and they shave you and they wash your feet and they do all this wonderful stuff, and you can see that on the video. It takes about 90 minutes, and it's 200 thou, which is about $8, and I tip them 100 thou, which is another 4, so the whole thing's about $12. And also massages are kind of the same thing. A 90-minute deep tissue Thai massage by a really fabulously trained professional masseuse here is probably 300, and I tip 100, so that's 400 thou. That's maybe $16 for 90-minute beautiful massage, and they will come to your room and do it. And it's totally professional. They're not pimping themselves or trying to get you to escalate. Although you can find that if you're looking for it. A little extra services if you want, but that really blows your budget. A lot of my friends are the people that I've met are masseuses and barbershop girls. Close friends. People I chat with on Facebook and people I have coffee with and people I eat with on occasion, and I know their kids, and they think I'm rich. If they only knew. Let's talk about visas. One of the ever-present concerns about living as an expat is the continuous need to have a current and legal visa. I use an agent, Lynn Visa. I talked about her in my last video. Let's see here. Vietnam doesn't have a retirement visa. They do have business visas and temporary residency cards if you get a job here. If you're like an English teacher or something. A lot of expats work, and most of them are English teachers. I have only ever just gotten a tourist visa myself. I'm always just gotten a tourist visa. Currently, in April of 2021, very few new visas are being issued, only extensions to our original visas because of COVID. And we are having to redo those every month. And after COVID, seriously, no one knows what the rules will be. Before COVID, I had a year-long tourist visa. As an American, we can get year-long tourist visas. It's something John McCain and John Kerry worked out when they worked to normalize relations with Vietnam. So even with that year-long visa, we are still required to exit every 90 days and come back in with a new 90-day stamp in our passports. That was called doing a border run. Every 90 days, you got to do a border run. So we would all jump in 3 vans organized by Lynn Visa and drive across the width of Vietnam to the border town of Lao Bao, Laos, where we would check out of Vietnam, check into Laos, check out of Laos, and check back into Vietnam. Sounds like a hassle? It was pretty bad, but it was a shared misery, and we all got to know each other fairly well, and some level of camaraderie was attained. You spend 12 hours in a van with 7 other people, and you kind of get to know them. And if you do that every 90 days, you really kind of get to know them. And it's usually the same people because your visas are expiring at the same time. And Lynn organizes all that. Okay, so where am I here? After COVID, it might be different. We are trying to distill costs here for you. So I would say plan on $600 a year for visa expenses. Visas, border runs, etc. Like I said in my last video, having a visa agent is gigantically helpful. $50 a month currently to do the extensions. And I think really, if you plan for $600 a year, split out over whatever it takes. Yeah, I think I'm probably really close to being right on $600 a year. Maybe a little less even. $50 a month currently, and who knows how long the COVID restrictions will remain in place. There are currently no vaccines available to the general public here. But also there is no COVID in the wild here. So that's nice. Yeah, there's no vaccines here, but there's no COVID either. You know, the Vietnamese are masterful pandemic managers. They did a great job. And so, but the borders are closed, so nobody's coming in to bring it either. Hence, no visas are being issued. So, and so that'll all change when the vaccines get here and the authorities relax a little bit and allow international flights in. Okay, so one of the things the two Vietnam veteran senators could not do was tell the communists to not be communists. It's kind of weird because I can get my Social Security deposited into a bank in Thailand, no problem, but I cannot get my Social Security deposited into a bank in Vietnam. I have my Social Security deposited into a stateside bank, and I use the ATM here in DaNang to withdraw cash. Between the ATM fees here and the fees my bank charges and the exchange rate charge, the ATM costs me about $30 a month. Yes, it's about $10 for every 10 million I pull out. The ATM costs me about $30 a month. My bank likes me because they make money off of my account. They also treat me really well. So this is something to keep in mind. They FedExed me a new debit card when I asked. So there's that. You know, oh, another thing, get a new debit card before you leave and get the expiration date as far into the future as they will let you. Also, make sure debit card matches the name on your passport. That might save you some gigantic hassle over here. I need to include miscellaneous costs of around $100. That would be for things like, you know, buying a novel you want to read from Book Metro, which is fabulous. You can find Book Metro on Facebook and order through Messenger, and they deliver it. And you pay them you pay the motorbike guy when he delivers your book in a few days. Or, you know, a pair of flip-flops, you know, thumb drive, buying coffee for the gang, etc. So all those kind of things would fall under the miscellaneous costs, and I'm putting that at about $100. So one last note, I've been sober and nicotine-free for 34 years, so at this point I don't spend any money on alcohol or nicotine, okay? And I don't go to bars, and I can't stand cigarette smoke, so those things are not, I don't spend any money on that at all. And in fact, I'm really kind of leery of coffee shops out in the wild because the Vietnamese smoke like the Spaniards do, and it's just kind of crazy. So my coffee shops I have found are, you know, Pheelong down on the river and Karakoli inside the mall. There's no smoking inside the mall, so that's one of the reasons I love it. Okay, so let's add all this up. Rent is $300 a month. Okay, electricity is $45, motor rental is $50, gas for moto is $15, meds are $50, retail lab for blood tests $35. I love the fact that we have retail labs here, and they're cheap. And they give you a menu selection, and you can check off what you want, and they do all those tests and charge you, you know, $15 or something. It's like wonderful. So groceries, $200. Restaurants for almost always two people, $300 a month. Coffee shops, $15 a month. Massage and barber shop, $100, and once in a while that goes higher. Visas, $50. ATM costs $30. Miscellaneous, $100. So the total is $12.90. And that's probably pretty accurate, you know. And if you're a big drinker, then add whatever that is, and or tobacco user, and or whatever else, you know. So I do buy clothes on occasion. That usually comes out of my miscellaneous. Oh, so one thing is North Face is made here. All the North Face stuff is made here. So you can get a Summit Series Gore-Tex shell with a hood for they're 500 thou. So $20. And I got a fleece vest, a fleece jacket that had a nylon shell on it, North Face, black, beautiful thing. That's, you know, it's basically a nylon shell that's lined with fleece, and that was $20. It's all made here, so you can buy good quality stuff. Thank you, everybody, for supporting my channel. That means a lot to me. It's really huge. I love it. I love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, And if you're really interested in DaNang, I've done a million videos on DaNang in my channel, so please dig in. And some are good, some are better. Some of the early ones before COVID, I was doing really working hard on videos until COVID, and then I started studying Vietnamese. I, in fact, took 61 classes over 30 weeks, 2 classes a week, hour-long classes a week on Zoom for 30 weeks during COVID, and then I just got burned out. I have 430 pages of handwritten notes, and then I started working on my channel again. I felt like I was really I had abandoned my channel because I was really studying Vietnamese a lot. And so prior to COVID, my videos tend to be a little better. And then since, let's see, March, when did I stop? I don't know. But so anyway, look, watch them, have fun, and thanks everybody. Bye.